Chinese Communist Party is going to collapse, and here are 4 reasons why. China has a 19% youth unemployment rate, so essentially people are graduating college but don't have jobs when they leave. There are trends like lying flat, which means when they graduate, they don't actually go towards ambitious careers.
All right, another xenophobic American that is fantasizing about China collapsing. This is your favorite half Chinese. Well, first, youth employment. Well, I believe that the United States also has a problem with youth employment. It's not going to collapse China at all. The term laying flat means actually that the Chinese kids that are coming from school that have studied high studies are just laying there and waiting for a better job opportunity because there's a lot of competition in China and they don't want to take the lowest job instantly. So yeah, they're going to wait for a place that they will like. And it also shows you that for them, they have the ability to wait. Why do they have the ability to wait? Because they can afford life, something that Americans cannot. Talking about collapsing of a society.
Does the Chinese economy have problems? Yes, but we will not collapse. Why? Because even if you are just an ordinary restaurant waiter in a small city, you get free food and accommodation and a salary of 3,000 yuan. If you use this money to buy groceries, you can feed 6 more adults. The high unemployment rate is because graduates cannot find suitable high-paying jobs, not because they cannot find any jobs at all. Because the tuition fee at Chinese universities are very low, they don't need to repay student loans. So they lie flat and do nothing, just waiting for a good job because of the social safety net provided by China as a socialist country. They won't go hungry, nor will they become homeless. We just need to wait patiently for the economic crisis to pass, and then we can start over. This is like hibernation for animals. When winter passes, they will naturally return in the spring. We have experienced this situation several times already. All the rumors being spread to American audiences these days claiming that China is about to collapse have only one purpose. The oligarchs are trying to deceive you into thinking that the whole world is bad. It's normal for American people to not afford groceries, and that you should continue to endure and not start a revolution.
Protests are a huge problem for China right now. There was over 1,200 protests in the first half of 2025. That's double from the previous year. Although they're trying to suppress this, and that's why you haven't heard about it, it's only going to get worse the more they crack down on these protests.
Then you were talking about protest. I haven't checked the number actually, but it really doesn't matter. The protests that are going in China, there's always protests in China, but it's not against the state. It always is about policies, about some company that is, you know, not doing what the workers want or whatever. It's not against the state. Chinese people in general are very, very happy with the Communist Party of China. And you don't understand because you have been, your mind has been subjugated by the propaganda that you have been fed all of the time since you were born. So you do not understand where we as Chinese people coming from and why we would love the Communist Party of China. Maybe you should ask us instead of talking about us. Maybe you can learn a couple of things. So this is not going to collapse a government. It's not a sign. It is. China has 1.4 billion people. Obviously, you will have a lot of protests every single day. But again, they are local and you know, against a certain policy or sometimes a lot of times about companies.
China has a huge innovation problem, and they have for a very long time, which is why they consistently steal intellectual property from America. They've made a lot of strides in EVs and AI, but still lag behind the US in AI models. They're over-reliant on state-driven tech, and since we put chip restrictions on them, they've really lagged behind. Thank God we did that.
And then you say, not innovative enough. China is one of the most innovative countries that there is. What are you talking about? They're the highest in tech right now. You're literally like, just go and watch China for yourself, and you will see how advanced China is, and then you're complaining or saying that they are not innovative enough and that they are stealing from the United States. China doesn't steal. It is actually the United States that is stealing from China. On this very app that we are here with, stitching this video on, and you still have the guts to call Chinese thieves while you're on an app that is currently trying to be stolen by your government from China. And before that, it was the other gay app, Grindr. Not surprised about that one. And, that's what your government does. That's what your entire country does. In fact, the United States has been built on stealing. Even the land is stolen. So don't come and say that Chinese steal intellectual property. Okay, tell me what exactly.
So today's question, why do Western countries always get to be the main character in world history? Have you ever think about it? Let's talk about this today. You probably heard about this story 1,000 times already. Civilization began in ancient Greece and Rome. Everything modern somehow started in Europe. You think about this. Greece and Rome were slave societies. Their farming and craftsmanship were limited compared to other great civilizations. And yet, they were called the birthplace of humanity. Why? Because Europe needed a myth, a clean starting point where it could cast itself as the hero. Then come the Renaissance, Europe's big rebirth. But those ideas did not appear out of nowhere. For centuries, scholars in the Islamic world preserved and expanded Greek learning, and much of it re-entered Europe through Iberia during the 13th century through the translation movement. Now Columbus, in 1492, he discovered the New World. But America already had tens of millions of people, city-states, astronomy, agricultural writing. So what did he actually discover? He arrived, seized, and the narrative later called exploration. What followed was conquest, an epidemic disease that devastated indigenous population. This is how power rewrites itself. It turns conquest into adventure. Now, colonialism. And we were told it spread civilization. But for most of the colonized world, it meant culture suppressed, language banned, and resource extracted. Colonial connection, cotton, silver, sugar, the profit of slavery significantly accelerated Britain's industrial takeoff. Civilization did not sell off Europe. Profit did. Then the 20th century gave us another rewrite. World War II. If you only read one chapter, it's D-Day. America saved freedom. But the decisive land war against Nazi Germany was on the Eastern Front. Stalingrad, Kursk, Operation Bagration broke the Wehrmacht at enormous cost. D-Day mattered, but it was not the sole turning point. In Asia, years of Chinese resistance tied down the large Japanese forces and shaped the war's outcome. Here's where it gets interesting. It's not about a history book. It's about how people are taught to see the world right now. Hollywood, media, even universities often center Western life as default. Often, other culture become a decoration. How many of you have a Buddha's head sculpture in your backyard? Yoga turns into fitness. Meditation becomes a wellness product. The spiritual meanings get stripped out and become a product and resold. Science get the same treatment. We were told that it was born in the West, but mathematics and numerals came to Europe from India. Arabic scholars advanced astronomy and medicine, and China produced breakthrough technologies in navigation, printing, papermaking, and gunpowder, alongside deep metallurgical craft. Science is not Western, it's human. Then there's individualism. We're told standing alone equals freedom, while unity is suspect. But cooperation builds civilization. Isolation weakens it. Divide people enough, you don't need army to control them. Western centrism don't just define history, it defines normal. Who gets credit, whose voice counts, whose culture goes invisible. This is not about blaming the West, it's about asking who gets to tell the story of the world. Because whoever tells the story shapes the truth. It is about accuracy. Every civilization deserves to be seen in full. Anyway, I have a full article on Substack about this one, and link in bio, or visit grumpychineseguy.com. Take care, guys.
China is experiencing a huge demographic collapse. The one-child policy really bit them in the butt. China's population dropped to 1.408 billion, which sounds like a lot. This is a decrease of 1.39 million from the previous year. The fertility rate is approximately 1 child per woman, and you need 2.1 just to replace yourself as a couple. This will lead to labor shortages, people not paying into the pensions, people not being able to retire. There's a bunch of bad issues that will come of this. So keep that in mind and know that China's not this big bad wolf that everybody's talking about, and a lot of its aggressive behavior is because it's on its way down.
Then you have the fertility rate. Well, yeah, the fertility rate is low. The government is also working on it by subsidizing the people. They're giving, I don't know how much money. It depends on which province you are. That's correct. But the same you have in the United States. It's like 1.6 right now, somewhere around it, right? Probably now lower because this number is from 23. But it also doesn't look good for the United States. And the United States has way less people than China does. And the United States is not solving its internal problems. It is creating more problems all over the world. Because that's what your government is doing. The Communist Party of China knows that there is a problem and they're going to fix it. They're not like Trump, that they're just promising things and nothing will happen. So don't worry about that. Worry about your own country. It is not going to collapse a country of 1.4 billion people. If that would be collapsing a country, then entire Europe would have been collapsed, and the United States also already, because we have lesser people and we also are in decline. So I hate to break it to you, but I don't think that China is going to collapse anytime soon. You're just one of those xenophobes that feels the need to bash China, to show how great the United States is. But the United States has already fallen. You should do better and mind your own business. This was your favorite half Chinese. Please let me know in the comment section what you think of all this. Please like, share, and if you have not yet, then follow. Keep it respectful in the comment section, because we're not uncivilized barbarians, unlike some others. This was your favorite half Chinese, and as always, have a great day.
Next week, China will hold a big political meeting, the fourth plenary of the Communist Party's 20th Central Committee. Every time this kind of meeting happens, international social media goes wild. Everyone suddenly knows someone who heard something from someone close to power. That's when a funny new word appears online, 听传师, literally listeners under the bed. It's a joke, of course. People use it to describe those who pretend to know secret political gossip. Who is up, who is down, and who is in trouble. As if they were literally hiding under a leader's bed, listening to pillow talk. And every rumor sounds so detailed. You would think they really were there, but soon enough, reality proves them wrong. Still, thousands keep listening. It's like a adult bedtime story, only about politics. For decades, political gossip has been a social hobby in China, especially in Beijing. Middle-aged guys drink, brag about who they know, and whisper about what they heard. The next morning, gone, until the next drink. Data shows these rumors always peak around two moments: March, during the National People's Congress, and August, during the secretive Beidai meetings. This year, with the party's big conference coming, the rumors are everywhere now. Here is the real takeaway. When it comes to China, people love to believe inside stories, but 95% of the time, it's just creative fiction. Even many foreign exports fall into the same trap. too many people listening on the debate and not enough actually doing the work to understand how China really operates. So before you believe the next breaking news about China, ask yourself, what's that information heard on the debate? I'm Yuan, a Chinese founder and scholar unpacking how this country and what really works. Follow for grounded takes from someone who has lived, built, and studied both China and the world. Check my bio page for more. Thank you.